world record, $13,700 a pound, 98 point washed geisha world record coffee, part 3. In part 2, we talked about processing methods. There's a bunch of them, but the one that Hacienda La Esmeralda used was controlled cold temperature fermentation. Okay. We also talked about its impact on flavor and the overall characteristics of the world record coffee. So we know that cold temperature fermentation is an advanced technique. But in this part, I want to talk about another advanced technique that they used called climate-controlled drying. Now, to start with, coffee beans have to be dried to the point where there's 10 to 12% moisture in the beans so that they're suitable for roasting. Now, this climate-controlled drying takes resources that almost all coffee farmers do not have, okay? Normally, when coffees are dried out in this process, they are laid out on patios or on raised beds. Their workers rake them intermittently to ensure consistent drying. But this climate-controlled drying is unique. With the climate-controlled drying method that Hacienda La Esmeralda used to achieve this world record coffee, they either used drying chambers or mechanical dryers, or they could control the temperature, humidity, and airflow. Okay, it can be tightly controlled too. They can adjust things as they need to, but when coffees are dried outside, there are fluctuations in the weather conditions. You know, the rain and excessive heat, which are both common in coffee growing countries. But with climate controlled drying, the beans dry consistently, and over drying, which dulls the flavors, and under drying, which risks mold. And that's for you, Mama T, to answer your question from the other video. They can be prevented because they're tightly controlling these things. You also get protection from defects like dust or insects or foreign materials, and it prevents fermentation from starting again, which would introduce off flavors. You could get a real kind of a funky taste to the coffee, the flavor in the coffee, and that's just not anything that anybody wants. So how did this climate-controlled drying impact this world record coffee? Well, number one, it preserves the delicate flavors like floral and fruity notes that are the hallmark of world-class geisha coffees, which this one is. Okay, it also produces a clean cup. By using this method, Hacienda La Esmeralda was able to eliminate defects like mustiness or phenolic notes. And for a 98-point coffee, a world record coffee, certainly, cleanliness is a must. Enhanced complexity. The uniform drying enhances the structural integrity of the beans, which allows nuanced flavors to fully develop during roasting and brewing. And it produces consistency throughout, which is incredibly important because the user jury, so to speak, the Q graders that assigned this coffee a 98-point cup score, they cupped it over multiple sessions. You know, it wasn't just yeah, that's pretty good. You know, multiple sessions, multiple cups. That's to grade the consistency throughout the lot, and the controlled drying really helps enhance that. Okay, so this is just a really short one today, part 3. To conclude, since Hasi and La Esmeralda, I don't know why I have such a hard time saying that, use these advanced techniques, they were able to amplify the intrinsic qualities that geishas, the varietal of this coffee, have become so famous for: that floral intensity, bright acidity, silky body and mouthfeel, and a lingering sweetness. This is how they did it, part 3. This is how they achieved that 98-point cup score that they were paid $13,700 a pound for. And the lot, remember, the lot was 44 pounds. So the buyer Julith Coffee, which we'll talk about in part 4, paid $604,080 for this lot. That's incredible. All right, so part 5 of the series, we'll try to answer the question: why would anybody, anywhere, pay $604,080 for 44 pounds of coffee? We'll see you next time.